Good morning. I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're enjoying what's left of your summer. And we've got a busy agenda here today. I think we have a quorum now, Lisa. There we go. So we can proceed. Let's begin with the Columbia County Land Bank contract.
Sure. We've got the land bank contract attached to your packet. And essentially it's just a renewal of our management contract with the agency. There are no substantive changes.
Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. We're in the land bank business. Okay. Finance Committee, Brian Mahoney.
We had a great meeting. Mike or John, do you guys want to just give a brief financial update?
Sure. I'll take it from the top and then Mike can fill in any details that we need to dive into. Hold on one second. So our financial position is on track. Year-to-date income is off by $10,000 versus budget, but year-to-date expenses are $115,000 lower than budget. Balance sheet is up 112 versus budget. Accounts receivable is holding steady. AP is up 60,000 versus 2025. And what explains that is one contract, the wireless. We've paid vendor already for that. So that's the numbers, but we've decided going forward after talking to Brian after our first finance committee meeting is to streamline the process a little bit. Instead of reading through the numbers at the meetings, we're just going to put a narrative in. We'll address in the narrative the highlights, and then we'll address anything if people ask about specifics. And of course, Brian will bring up anything or flag anything that he wants folks to know about. So the next meeting will start with that process. We're also in the process of updating all the signature authorization cards for bank accounts. Thank you everyone for bearing with us. We've had to get our own signatures, but no, it's not that we want to bother you. County budget requests are due on August 10th. So next week we'll have an internal budget planning workshop where we'll build out the budget for next year based on last year's. So chances are, unless something miraculous comes up in the next 2 weeks, we won't be asking for an increase from the county. A lot of counties are already under pressure to make cuts. So we haven't been instructed that, but I wouldn't be surprised if the desire is to make some cuts somewhere. So that's where we are with the budget.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to?
Nope, all look reasonable and in line.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried.
9-9.
Oh, 990 next.
In your packets, the annual IRS tax return for not-for-profits, the IRS Form 990 is a reminder UHY does sign off on the Form 990 as well every year. There were no substantive changes from prior years. The Finance Committee reviewed it and did recommend approval by the full board. We do disclose in the 990 that it is reviewed and approved by the board as well. So we bring it forward for your consideration.
Any questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion, Everett. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, the investment policy.
I don't think it's in this packet. I don't know if the Finance Committee packet is circulated, but it wasn't there. No material changes at all to that is in the packet. No material changes to the investment policy, just states that we, as a Finance Committee and the board, review it and approve it every year. So it is included in your packet for consideration. I think it does stipulate really just needs to bear counsel for low risk cap positions.
Page 56 of the packet.
Thank you. Any questions, folks?
Nothing new.
Nothing wrong.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Investment policy is approved. Good. Transfer of loan interest to reserves.
Yes, so the thought here is we would just have a quick discussion and make sure that there's support for this, but basically continue to build up our reserves, which right now is hovering around 300,000, which sounds good compared to the past, but it's still only about 3 months burn. So we should keep charging ahead. So the ideal here is to move the profits from the loan interest into the revenue, reserve account. Okay, and I don't know, do we need a vote for this, or is this just a,
I think it's been previously authorized.
okay,
The thought being that interest income CEDC earns on the SBA.
County and
Yep, gets commingled with our reserve account, so we're just going from one reserve account, another reserve account, but one that allows the board to release the money as necessary for operations.
Okay. And the finance. Oh, pardon me?
one of the issues has been with the SBA account, is, first, we discussed the fact that we have cash flow issues and, we want to have a larger reserve account for that purpose. And that would only be accessed by board approval. However, what we also discovered, the SBA accounts, because we weren't segregating out the interest as it was earned, we were keeping those tranches, in business longer than we needed to, which meant we were delayed in drawing additional monies from the SBA. Because if people paid, we put them back into the same account we were loaning money out of. We didn't draw it down to the point where it looked like we were, out of money. So, this way, we'll set up a separate account, next year for all interest. We're gonna take interest for 2026 to put it in the reserve account quarterly. But next year we'll, take interest and not put it in reserve, but put it in an account that the board would direct separate.
Thanks for clarifying that, Mike.
I think you should have a motion in a second, just to authorize it.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Brian?
Just the valuation from the committee members is two, that was it.
Is that evaluation need?
I don't.
Sean
It
did
has-
it, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Beautiful, perfect.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Good, we move on to Justin Goldberg with the loan committee.
Sure, loan committee met last week and we approved the portfolio dashboard. We discussed these two loan requests. They passed the flying colors. Turn over the mark to the portfolio dashboard.
Thank you. We'll go down the list. Loan client A is a restaurant that's no longer in business. Loan client B, they're 2 months in arrears. They have promised us a payment by the end of the month, which is this week.
Martha, excuse me, what page are you on?
It's 62.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay. Loan client C, is also out of business, and we're all familiar with that one. Loan client D is new, in terms of being in arrears. They're keeping a close eye on this one because it's a relatively new loan, with a large outstanding balance. They have requested a deferment, which we will grant as long as they agree to meet with one of our technical assistance providers. That has in fact already been scheduled. So next month I will hopefully have an update for the loan company. Are there any questions? Yes.
So on A, you're gonna write off to 14,061.
Actually, the amount outstanding is 31,000, the principal balance.
Okay. And they're going, now, what you'll do is go after them also.
We are keeping in touch with them, and we're, Andy has been in touch with the attorneys involved. I don't have an update at this time, but it is possible that we will be writing off that amount. We're hoping not the full amount.
But I mean, you're gonna, all these employees were written, all these new contracts with personal guarantee, and if
Yes.
there's any equipment,
The equipment is now owned by the bank, who has a position ahead of CEDC.
so we got nothing.
We have very little.
We have hope.
This loan has been fully reserved, as has, so loan client A and loan client C are fully reserved.
Other questions on the portfolio? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
Next up, we have a loan request for Hudson Roseberry.
Hudson Roastery LLC, they're a coffee roaster and cafe. They have requested $75,000 to purchase 2 new coffee roasters. It will be split between the 2 loan funds. The interest rate is 7 3/4. The purpose is equipment purchases and working capital. We will have a lien on business assets and a personal guarantee of principal. And I think everyone knows this is an existing client with an excellent payment history.
Questions, comments?
Why, I have a question. Why are they getting two coffee roasters instead of starting just one? Then ramping that up? I mean, they're not cheap.
They are not cheap, and in fact, I think it does save them money in terms of importing them with tariffs and et cetera. And they're really barely able to keep up with their wholesale business, and that's where they want to expand.
And is that other location that's on Green Street where they're just roasting, that's not gonna be a business, is that a rental
Yes,
that they have?
yeah, we have a lease.
Okay.
Martha, I just have a general question. I mean, they seem like they're doing okay.
Yeah.
When do, and just historically, when do people start thinking about going to a bank instead of CEDC? And are we stepping on banks' toes? I mean, they seem like they're pretty buttoned up and,
We ask that question every single time,
Okay.
and so oftentimes it's because a bank, and sometimes Justin refers them to us for whatever reason it doesn't fit their model. I think sometimes they have an existing relationship with us, maybe our interest rate is slightly better, or the collateral is a little more flexible. Yeah,
have we ever denied anybody because like, hey, you don't really.
Too good.
You're too good, you know, you don't get it.
yeah, we usually do tell them to go to your bank first,
Okay.
and oftentimes they can meet our rate or beat it, and especially if they own a building. In that
One
case,
of the aspects here that was looked at back when we first got their application was the fact that they're just, we're looking at it as this roasting as a startup, separate from their coffee house.
Fair enough.
They have to run that as a profitable entity and not. So it was, but we're very conscious of exceptions at the back of our.
Any other concerns or questions about the roastery loan?
This seems like a lot of money, $75,000 to me, you know, for capital expense that's my concerns. It seems like a rather large amount.
they actually requested 100, and we told them that our comfort level was 50. We sort of agreed to split the difference with them. They're putting in $25,000 of their own money to make this purchase. And again, we felt comfortable based on their payment history that this wouldn't be a problem here. So
And they can cash flow it with their existing operation.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. On to Old Kinderhook.
Old Kinbrook Electric LLC is a startup business of an electrical contracting business. The client will keep his full-time job teaching contracting at Hudson Valley Community College. He's looking for $25,000. This will be an SBA loan with a monthly payment of $504 per month, interest rate of 7 3/4. He'll use the money for equipment, inventory, and working capital. And again, we'll have a lien on business assets and the personal guarantee of it.
Questions? If none, is there a motion?
So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Good. Okay, Old Kinderhook is turning on the switch. Good. What is the risk rating item on the agenda?
We review this quarterly with the loan committee, and we provide a report and we go through it in detail. I just wanted to sort of wrap it up for the full board, letting them know that we adjust the risk rating for every loan on a quarterly basis. The 2 that are in the highest reserve category are the 2 that we discussed with our dashboard. According to the input in down home, they tell us that we should have $430,000 in reserves to account for all of the loans and the level of reserve, level of risk that we have assigned to that. Right, and so this does tie into that loan loss reserve on the balance sheet, so we make sure that we have enough set aside in the event that something catastrophic happens.
All right, does that require approval of the board?
No, we do have a star next to it. I think in our loans policy manual, it says it will be approved quarterly by the board.
Is there a motion?
Make motion.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Martha. Our new president and CEO, John Spampanato, under the tutelage of Mike Tucker, has now completed a full month. And by all accounts, is doing a great job. Don't stop applause at everything.
I know. You still make it at all. Thank you.
The first grade. Still there. That's impressive.
Yeah, you came back. So it's time for your report. Tell us what you've been doing.
Sure.
That full month that you completed.
Okay, so I'll skip over the financials. We did that already. Staffing, we've interviewed 2 strong candidates for the housing coordinator position. I should qualify that, maybe good to strong. Both are very young, have some good experience, not direct experience, and aren't from the area. It's very difficult to find somebody from the area. Yesterday, I was just talking to Patterns about renewing. We're going to keep Chris on board. Just 1 second, I'm here. We've got Chris until the end of August, supporting on our housing initiative and supporting the task force. She told me, however, at Patterns that she was recruiting for a similar position for the county, Rockland County. She was an administrator there. And she said it took her 13 months to recruit a housing coordinator. So hopefully one of these 2 candidates really ticks all the boxes, but we'll find out soon. The micro lending's on track. We just heard from Martha about loan programs. One update there from HDC regarding the loan program targeting businesses in the city of Hudson, which is basically going to soft launch sometime in August. They were hoping to do it late July, but due to sicknesses and they had to push some board meetings off and these sort of things. So I would say now they're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's with Martha. I think there's probably like a couple of clarification questions that came back and forth. But other than that, I think we're in a good position and we'll probably support them as they start rolling out their marketing efforts later this month. Pilots. We've got, just want to share, didn't make a lot of copies, so I'll just pass one to the left and one to the right. One of the things that became clear early on was that we needed to make more information. We needed to pull the curtains back a little bit on the pilot process, both from the public perspective, but also we heard some supervisors asking questions about the process and these sorts of things. So we published for the both IDAs, we published a very simple PowerPoint that walks people through, and you can read it regardless, I would say, education level. Pretty straightforward, quotes the process, but also the benefits and the obligations that business would have as well. So I pass those around if anybody wants to take a look at them. The bill applications received by either IDA in the past 30 days. We're creating a dashboard for pilot status and impacts aligned with the metrics used by the comptroller's office. So every year, the comptroller actually publishes a report card on IDA effectiveness statewide. So we're going to use those metrics that he uses so that we sort of know where we're going to be before he publishes and we find out. That should also make our reporting back to the board meetings a lot easier as well. So we'll have a standard dashboard for something like this. But we're in the process. Mike, our intern Jack, and myself just started this. So it'll probably take another 1 or 2 months to complete. But once we're done, it'll be a vast improvement. We've already got the data, so we're not spending a lot of time and energy over punching based on our weight here. But all the data comes through an IDA application and the annual reporting survey, which is the obligation that we have to report back on progress that the pilots made ongoing matters. So all we have to do is really repoint that data and pull it into a dashboard. So that's what we'll be doing over the next 30 to 60 days. Maybe it'll be even quicker and easier, not sure, we'll find out. But we'll basically be able to very easily see at the project level, the status, the incentives profile, and the impacts. And then we'll be able to zoom through those at every meeting if we need to or want to. And internally, we'll be able to have access to that much easier instead of looking through old files along the wall. So that's what we're up to with the IDA universe. We'll zip through the projects just to give everybody, it's been a couple months, I think, since everybody's really been exposed to the pilots. So I will race through here. We've got 9 at the Hudson IDA that we're following and 5 county IDA. I'll list them off, and then if anybody's got any specific questions, and Mike, if you want to flag any of them for any discussions. For the Hudson IDA, it's the John L. Edwards Penrose project, which is senior housing. Hudson Terrace, which is housing. Section 7 LLP, Depot Lofts, Pocketbook, Providence Hall, Top of Warren, Hudson Mansions, and 600 Union Street. For the county IDA, Wick Hotel, Clock Estate, Blue Spruce Apartments, Clover Hudson, 27 Summer Street, and noticing 6 is missing here, and Perch, which is the Quechee Lake Motel.
And 27, so.
27 Sutton.
Someone.
Okay.
House.
All right. Are there any that you want to, that you feel need to be discussed, Mike?
No, about half of them, are, in Hudson are closed and under either completed or, finishing construction. The others, are waiting for financing, so they close. Over the last 5 years, Hudson has done $175 million of IDA approvals. And in the county, you'll recall, that the IDA, at the request of the city IDA, because they hadn't done a deal in 10 years, asked their county IDA to finance the Wick Hotel. That's got 1 year left on its pilot, so that will expire. But Joe, what Jonathan is doing is you're helping to bring organization to the data that we have, so that as we grow it, it will be easily accessible and managed. So we're not the Nassau County or Erie County IDA with tens of 20, 30 projects a year. And we're at a point now where we've got enough traction that it makes a lot of sense to do what we're doing in terms of taking the data, organizing it, and putting it in a database that can be analyzed going forward, which is something we hadn't done.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about any of the specific projects?
What's the one in Philmont?
The one in Philmont, that's
Philmont, it's up at the pond, it's an old knitting mill.
The old American Legion Home across the street.
It's, yeah, right across the street from mine. And, it's a group out of New York City. They are proposing, they all buckled up, a $20 million banquet, facility. And, they have moved forward, on a number of fronts. They've gotten several large, New York State Restore New York grants and other grants. And we're hopeful that they'll be able to proceed. They, did have approvals from the village, and, there was an issue with them with respect to their pilot, because the village had approved a tax exemption for restoration of historic buildings that would have given them even a better deal than the pilot, but the IDA said that you can't have both, and if, we're not gonna let you have the more aggressive, benefit for the village. It was 0 taxes for 5 years. The village was a little upset with that, so the IDA held, so.
I don't blame them on that.
okay.
Anything else, John?
I think the couple of other quick updates. For housing land bank renewal contract with CDCs, including our action items today, we've already resolved that. County grant for identifying what are now being commonly called zombie properties, which are vacant, blighted, or abandoned houses. That grant is proceeding. EPA Brownfields initiative is going well. We launched last week publicly or 2 weeks ago, with Greene County. We had about 1,000 participants. That program continues to go well. Infrastructure, cellular mapping is what we're focused on right now. Agreement with MC Fiber for completion of the wireless survey has been updated and work is scheduled for August through September. And then miscellaneous, we will, for the transition plan, send out a stakeholder survey early next week. That'll go out to all of our stakeholders. If anybody wants to see a copy before I send it out, let me know and I can share it with you. And you can give me any feedback you have, but essentially it's a pretty high level survey of all of our stakeholders. We ask them to sort of classify themselves. That's about the only information we collect on with the surveyor. So if you're a board of supervisors or sort of local or business partner, etc. So that'll go out next week. CEDC plans to submit a CFA application this month for the $300,000 micro enterprise grant on behalf of the county. We continue to participate in the County Executive Administrator Task Force, which had a presentation and discussion with Saratoga County Executive earlier this month. Rick joined us for that meeting, task force meeting. And then finally, CEDC submitted letters of support for the Town of Canaan's grant application for funds to support their smart zoning initiative now that they've finished their comprehensive plan. And County Public Works also, we submitted a letter of support to them for their application to the New York State Empire State Development County Infrastructure Grant for the construction of new finished water tank for the county water district. And that is a wrap.
Any questions for John?
All right, nope.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And Mike, I don't know, it was in the paper, everybody might want to know about the project down in Hillsdale.
Okay.
Heard it, John.
Yeah, the road jan is going well, so the stepping back a little bit, Kathy's referring to the old road jan school on Route 22 in Copay, and what the plans are for that. Now, we still have not received an application, but we've met with the developers twice. Most recently, last week, before the ZBA meeting, we met with him and Supervisor Wolf. They seem to have some pretty good support. It's an interesting project. About 150 million is what they're identifying as the project value right now. And they implied that they will probably apply for a permit, maybe for a pilot, but they haven't stated that yet. They haven't pulled an application. They seem to have pretty good support, but they've got to go through the ZBA process. And one of the quotes in the coverage of the paper was that the ZBA saying that it will take quite some time to finish the review. So I'm not sure what that means for the project, but so far so good.
What's it gonna become?
It's going to become a resort with about 150 plus or minus keys. And it will be a mix of a typical hotel, but then some standalone cottage, sort of cottages that'll be high end, that will be probably for sale. But then they'll participate in leasing them out through the hotel. So they'd be on the availability. If you buy one, you're not there, you rent it out through the hotel. So they've got their hands full. Any comments there?
That's a lot of rooms for propane.
Yeah, it's a lot of rooms. Also, I think the other attention grabber is 100. They said about 100 jobs baseline. So once they're operational, it'll take about 100 new jobs to maintain the place. And then seasonal fluctuation will bring that up to about 250. So during peak season in summer, fall, and ski season, they anticipate as many as 250 employees will be. So their vision is pretty big. The architect who's doing it, he's done a couple of other projects. He showed Mike and I some examples of his other work, beautiful stuff. That's successful so far. So any specific questions or thoughts that you want us to?
No, I it was in the paper and I don't know if anybody saw it.
Did I read that there's a community element there as well, whether it's a theater or? some
Yeah,
sort of-
they've got a couple of different things there that the community would be able to, you wouldn't necessarily have to be a member or a guest to access. And they're also trying to figure out, when we went out and met last week, the architect was on the side of Route 22 with some highway officials and they were trying to figure out if there are ways that he can connect to the rail trail from the property. So he's looking for a lot of different ways to make the property very accessible to anybody that lives in the area. So we'll see, hopefully he's successful.
Jonathan, is there any other input on the possibility of another project being put in Hillsdale, housing or other housing?
Yeah, so I haven't heard anything. No one's contacted us officially, so to speak. I've heard a lot of folks talking about, oh, this increases the demand for housing even more. So it wouldn't surprise me. I know that informally, someone on the task force who lives in Copiague said, oh, I've got some property and I've been trying to think about how I could develop it. This creates some demand. So I think we'll probably also see some ancillary, some parallel projects crop up, for example, housing, workforce housing.
There's a possibility of another project, 100 rooms,
Okay,
possibly,
housing,
or housing for lower income and workers.
Well,
So
that's good to hear.
I would imagine that's coming next.
Yeah, because if this goes through,
Another
they're gonna need the housing. in
That's
the area.
exactly what I was gonna say, if you're gonna have over 100 employees of 250 at peak time, unless there's something on premise for the seasonal workers or something close by, it's going to be very, very challenging to
Yes.
fill those positions.
And I suspect that Copiague and Hillsdale will realize that, that this is an opportunity to create more housing. Because if they don't, then the opportunity goes outside the area to, people living in other communities driving in. So the ideal would be to capture that and keep all the economic value related to the development in the county.
And that's sort of a shame that this is coming in the aspect of Mike's hard work that he put in to try to convince Countyville School District they had a perfect plan for a housing situation there. It's absolutely perfect, but some of the board, I don't think was able to see the vision, and here it is.
So
They would have been so much farther ahead. They would have been done by now and prepared for this tremendous.
well, hopefully, I think it will trigger some. And that's it on the idea. And like I said, they have not submitted an application, but they have contacted us and kept us in close communications. And I don't know if there's anything else I think we should say about the project, Andy or Mike.
Another resort project in Clover? Yes, yeah.
The hotel in Clover. It's a smaller scale version, something similar in that there's a main building and a couple of separate rental. It's right at the corner of 9H and 23 behind Mill Keeler's.
Yeah.
Eskimo place.
We were shocked with that project as well as the Hudson Mansion project in the old Elks Club where there are 40-room hotels at $45 million, which is $1 million a key. By the Albany Marriott on Wolf Road, $168. But chairman of the IDA, $150 million project, at $1.5 million fee, so we'll be having staff.
Well, we just closed on Queechee Lake and that was what, 50,000 or 50?
No, we didn't close.
Not Queechee,
On the
hotel.
Hotel.
Of which we had to give the county back, what, 50?
CEDC had waived its fee, as you recall, for the IDA because we didn't want to complete their cash to a level that put them in a jeopardy. So we did that for Lisa for 2 years. And our contract with the IDA is that we receive 10% of what they received as a fee, up to $25,000. They received a $70,000 fee. So in addition to repaying the $48,000 deferred annual administrative fees, they paid the $7,000. And additional fee that was outstanding. They haven't actually paid it, they have to approve it at their August meeting, so we haven't transferred the funds, but we're looking to do more IDA work so that now they can restore their own bank account to getting current with CEDC.
Good.
Good, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Don't move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. There's no one here from the public, but the public is always invited to participate and attend in person or online and comments if they wish. Upcoming meetings, tentatively, August 11th is the governance and nominating committee. But I think Rachel, the chair, may be away. I did touch base with her to see if that's still gonna happen. August 17th, the loan committee, August 25th was the board meeting. Anything else to bring to the order of the board?
Jim, how are we on members for the board?
We have 3 vacancies right now, and hopefully, if this August 11th meeting does take place, we'll be interviewing 3 candidates,
Okay.
including the one that you had recommended.
Okay.
And if we can do that, we can get them on board sometime in September.
We're gonna have to buy a bigger tape.
Right. Okay, any other questions or comments? Before we adjourn, if you got 5 minutes, all right, Brian, Sarah, Rick, if you say, and I just need to touch base with you on something. If there's nothing else, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We're, thank you.